Betsy and Boss. It was the strangest thing. We arrived home with our house door open and our alarm going off. There was no evidence that the security home system people checked out the scene, nor had they notified us about the alarm going off. Furthermore, the front step had been swept of all the snow. It was the night of my wife's acceptance speech into the Faculty of Education as the Dean of Education. It was a big deal, and all the faculty members admired her. There was nobody more qualified than my Betsy. She also worked as a faculty advisor at the Faculty of Education for many years before accepting the dean's job. Betsy loved working with students. Bottom line. She must have got that from her grandmother, who was also a teacher and then became a professor of education. That's probably why she left most of her heirloom jewelry to Betsy, her first grandchild. This was Betsy's most prized possession. She kept it tucked away in her jewelry box in her walk-in closet. Betsy and I were married right out of college, and we never looked back. That was 30 years ago. We were never blessed with kids, and we never found out which one of us had the issue. We both loved children and would have welcomed a houseload. That's probably why we both went into teaching. Therefore, it ensured we would be around kids all the time. We both loved our jobs and went outside the box when creating daily lesson plans. We enjoyed working together and bouncing ideas off one another to whiz-bang most students. Betsy always had that twinkle in her eye about most educational matters and travel. Betsy traveled before we met and had been all over Central America, the USA and Canada, except for a few countries, states, and provinces. She added to her jewelry collection with pieces from everywhere she went. Betsy brought a worldview to the table behind every word she spoke. Her knowledge and experiences she lived were those that she kept tucked into her breast tightly and let go of as needed. Her empathy and ability to see the complete picture and understand the person in front of her were uncanny. Betsy was observant. She had a knack for it, and people saw it immediately. Betsy was, for all intents and purposes, the most incredible catch of my life. She and I rode our bikes to work every day and worked out together. Our lives were geared towards simple pleasures. But we splurged on a state-of-the-art alarm system, so returning home to find the alarm blaring and the front door opened was puzzling and scary. Betsy called the police and then sat in the car before she got too cold, awaiting the police before entering the house. I tried to shut off the alarm, but whoever set it off jammed it. There was no way to turn it off. I called the alarm company and asked them to turn off the alarm. Once the alarm was off, we rested easier. Our nerves were less frantic since the decrease in the noise. The police arrived to find us in our car. They searched the perimeter and then searched the entire house. Shortly after they went inside, we got called inside. They wanted to know if anything of value had been stolen. As shaken as we were, we methodically went through our items, searching for what might be missing, our heads not on the task at hand, clearly still on the fact that someone had been in our house. The alarm company said the person who engaged the alarm knew how to disengage the connection to the alarm company and probably wore earplugs the entire time they were in the house. Regardless, they offered us a free alarm system service for the year. Betsy discovered that her grandmother's wedding ring had been stolen along with several heirloom pieces of jewelry insured. The police cyber unit got on the web looking for jewelry for sale. They had great pictures of all the items. The police didn't seem too optimistic but said they would check the pawnshops and jewelry stores. Betsy hung her head and cried. I had seen that side of Betsy so scarcely, and I tried to comfort her, but I knew she had to let it all out. With Betsy, she has to work it all out and then she can get over it. But that takes time. Time for Betsy is a grueling and heartsick time. After the weekend, she emerged all better and went to her new Dean of Education job. The job entailed a lot of meetings with faculty and other department members, as well as the Dean's meeting that was every first Friday of the month. Slowly Betsy got used to the bureaucratic side of the job. She excelled at most things expected of her and quickly became a noteworthy member of the respective meetings. What struck Betsy the most was the students' requests that came her way to allow combined honors degrees and particular minors, etc. It happened one day in her office, and she made it look routine so that the student didn't suspect a thing. A girl so brazen came into the office to ask for special consideration for her program. While she showed the particulars to Betsy, it caught her eye. There on the girl's hand, staring Betsy in the face, was her grandmother's wedding ring. Thinking quickly, Betsy claimed she needed to speak with her secretary about a request document from the other dean of the faculty involved for the student's minor. The student didn't suspect a thing. Betsy quickly called the detective on the case. He asked Betsy to hold her there as long as she could, that he was on his way. He knew where Betsy's office was. She hung up the phone, and the secretary got a bunch of forms that all needed to be filled out by the student in the company of the dean. Betsy smiled at her secretary, Jean, then Betsy grabbed the documents and headed back into her office. She asked that the student take her time and read everything carefully before she started to fill anything out, with the dean sitting there watching her. The girl had no choice but to comply. About 20 minutes later, the student was arrested for theft, and the ring was taken from her finger. The police told her, "If you give us the rest of the jewelry and who broke into the house, you can go scot-free, otherwise, we'll assume you did this all, and you will go away for a long time." The girl heard all that and said, "I didn't rob anything. My boyfriend has given me a lot of jewelry in the past couple of weeks. I didn't question him about it, I just thought he worked a ton of overtime. He knows I love vintage jewelry."